Mr. Wilbon Winman is here. Monica is up and ready to roll this morning. We begin out west with a game that the defending champs desperately needed to win if they were going to keep the defense of their championship alive. Game 2 after San Antonio took the opener in a thriller. Second quarter, here we go, everybody. Monica, how about a poster for Stefan Castle?
Thank you, Shump. My sentiments exactly. That's how I felt on
You
that
gotta get up out of that rim.
Wait,
You gotta get up out of that rim, Isaiah. Get out of there.
Hartenstein on the wrong end of that one. Look at Wemby. Look at his face.
Game, respect, game.
100%.
Meanwhile, here's SGA. There was a lot of this going on the night. He's going to knock down this jumper. OKC up 11, and we're not exactly sure when it happened, but Wendy, there's Jalen Williams limping off.
He's headed probably for an MRI machine. He's already had 3 hamstring injuries this season.
So that's a concern for sure for OKC. 8 minutes to go in the third. We know he can do this.
Same
spot, maybe a foot closer.
Yeah. Stepping into a 3. He had 3 threes on the night, and then Chump, come on. Watch this.
Hey,
I mean,
get up out of that rim.
what are we doing here? You've never seen anything like that. Wembanyama 17 rebounds on the night. Spurs within 1. Now it's SGA spinning, no good. Chet Holmgren and Dylan Harper go down, and this is of significant concern.
Man, I'm sorry to say this again. I think we're headed to an MRI machine here, and the results could be very important for the rest of this series.
Dylan Harper's so important to what they do. And then SGA, Michael, really took over in the game when his team needed him.
He needed it. We thought we might see this in game 1. We saw it necessarily in game 2.
That one gives the Thunder an 8-point lead. Next possession, same score. It's SGA. He's dishing, and look at Chet taking it strong. He had 13, OKC by 10. It was an 8-point game going to the fourth quarter. San Antonio hung around Shump the entire night. Harrison Barnes going to knock this one down, and it's a 2-point game, so the Spurs were right there to steal another.
Professional basketball. Stay within striking distance. If you can, at the end, you will.
But the Thunder, you know why they got it from, Monica? They got it from their bench. That's Kaysen Wallace. Here comes Jared McCain. They got 57 from their reserves.
Yeah, and then when you go through this game, 9 assists from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A lot of that, as you mentioned, to the bench, guys.
2 minutes to go. It's a 7-point game. Watch Wemby. The spin, and he gets it to go. Wemby had 21. It's a 5-point game. 1 minute to play. OKC's up 5. They need a dagger, and they go to the MVP. 30 points for SGA.
Everybody
and he says, everybody just right, chill out.
Yeah, this is
RELAX, as the man once said.
Yeah.
Thunder even the series, 122-113. Here's the MVP after the game.
I was still okay. The guys brought it tonight, knowing what it would have meant if we lost this one. We brought the energy from the jump. Guys were ready to play. Didn't get discouraged by the runs they made. Obviously, they're a good team. They're going to make runs. We just kept fighting, stuck with it, and we were able to pull out a W.
All right, we have a lot to say, and the Windman, you sort of set the table for us in our meeting this morning with the 3 big notes from Game 2.
Number 1, major move. Mark Daigneault, the Thunder coach, goes to Isaiah Hartenstein as a primary defender. Shump and I were going back and forth about this for 2 days. I said the wings were hanging in there. Shump said put the big man on it. Shump's champ for a reason. Isaiah Daigneault's a champ for a reason.
Yeah.
Hartenstein defends him on 47 plays last night. Wembanyama goes from 21 shots in the paint in Game 1 down to less than 10 in Game 2. Their interior scoring completely changes. Number 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has not been himself for the last couple of games. He was averaging less than 30 points. This guy's averaged 30 points for 4 straight seasons. Back to 30 points last night. He's able to find his way through the double teams. They're double teaming him incessantly. 53 double teams in 2 games. He's finding his way through it. Shai was back. But number 3, and I hate to do this, it's the injuries. The injuries are now going to be defining the series going forward.
Yes,
the Spurs cannot withstand these injuries to their guards. 27 points allowed off turnovers last night. We could play Stefan Castle highlights for the next 5 minutes, but he has 20 turnovers in the 2 games because the Thunder come at you like thieves. They're slapping at you. They had 4 guards come off the bench yesterday. Off the bench, that generated 11 steals. It's a terrible cocktail to be down guards and facing the Thunder at the same time.
So the name that's going to come up, and it needs to, is De'Aaron Fox. It has to for San Antonio. But let me go back to those reserves. They're not reserves. They played so many minutes all year, particularly this season, because of the injuries that OKC had, particularly to JW. They're not reserves. Those guys are used to being in pressure situations. They're used to being in long stretches, so it's not a surprise. They are ready. But still, but on the other side of that with the injuries, De'Aaron Fox.
Meaning, do we expect him back in Game 3? Was this one where you steal Game 1, so you figure let's err on the side of caution in Game 2, not bring him back, and we expect him to play in the third game? We don't know.
Yesterday, when Shams told us that was a high ankle sprain, I sat back in my chair because that was the first I had heard it was a high ankle sprain. They're very unpredictable. Maybe he can get through it. They just don't have the guard reserves. And by the way, they have 3 of the best guards in the Western Conference, but you lose 2 of them. You don't have the guard reserves. The Thunder miraculously have these incredible guard reserves. I'm going to tell you, last night within the NBA, the text messages going on between the executives were, can you believe this team has freaking Jared McCain?
Yeah.
Because they're able to activate Jared McCain because they lost A.J. Mitchell and Jalen Williams last night. They have reserves on top of reserves.
So injuries becoming a part of the story. Let's put up A17 because obviously the story in this series, and the story anytime we talk about San Antonio, at the end of the day, is the huge Frenchman. The Thunder are a plus 19 in 21 minutes when Wemby is off the court shooting 61% from the floor. Let me say that again. The Thunder are a plus 19 in the 21 minutes when Wemby is off the floor. They shoot 61%. In the 85 minutes when Wemby is on the floor, the Thunder are a minus 17, shooting 40% from the floor, shooting a lot more jump shots and threes. Monica, I'm not a basketball expert, you are, but those numbers seem pretty stark to me. And Wemby played a lot of minutes in Game 1, and that they may have found a little bit of a response to him in Game 2 with Hartenstein.
I do think one thing Shea said post-game was that you're going to have to give Victor Wembanyama multiple looks, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a splash of back to the guards guarding him as well. But I thought Isaiah Hartenstein did a really good job. But there was a moment in the game, there was a stretch, I think it was in the second quarter, where Wemby was off the floor. And this is when Chat gets a little free a little bit. I think Isaiah Hartenstein had a good moment. But something to me that has been essential to this Thunder team is the joy and the jovialness they play with. Obviously, in the pursuit of a championship, some of the smiles get tightened up. But there were so few moments that you didn't have the breathing room that you're accustomed to seeing from them. And when Victor was off the floor, they were able to get back to that.
How about it, Chump? You got the MVP on one side. You got the young man who seems destined to be the best player in the world if he isn't already on the other, and last night went to SGA.
I think SGA and Hartenstein had to sit down. Because if you notice, SGA couldn't get to that mid-range. It was all about trying to get all the way to the rim or was settling for a three-pointer. He got back to his mid-range because he now knows, engage him. Hartenstein, people didn't know what he was doing half the time. He was waiting on them to get downhill. The moment they looked like they were about to get downhill, he got them bottled up. He made him do the little arm game. You got to play arm bar with me. You got to figure it out. And SGA every time attacked. Sometimes it almost looked like it was a blatant foul that was going to be called. But as bigs, you're like, I got 6 of them. I'm not taking any of them home. I'm going to leave everything out on the floor. And that's what we wanted to see in Game 1. We wanted to see Wemby engaged. Wemby was roaming free. If he doesn't have to actually guard anybody, he can guard everybody. So all Hartenstein did, got into his legs, made him play the game, made him have to fight for position. While fighting for position, guys were able to get in driving lanes.
Wembanyama is very young, Michael, but, they've brought him along somewhat carefully. He has only played 40 minutes 3 times in his career, including the postseason. He played 49 in Game 1 here. Is that something you're keeping an eye on as this series goes forward?
Not in this series necessarily with a lack of crazy travel, a lack of back-to-backs. Not necessarily. I mean, look, it just the pressure wears on you as much in a long, difficult series with a nemesis. Somebody, there's emotional expenditure of energy. We know that. We talked about that yesterday with Wembanyama. I thought that SGA coming out early, he is a let the game come to him quintessential player. That was not time for that anymore yesterday. He needed to force the action in the mid-range, and he did. Remember, his own team needs to have a familiarity, and they got in a familiar zone when he did. So with SGA doing that, that's Oklahoma City basketball at its best. And they're going to have to look. We know San Antonio, if healthy enough, Brian, is going to try to figure out a way to get him out of those spots, off those spots, and it's going to be SGA's job to doggedly figure out how to get there.
Look, Game 1 went to double overtime. Game 2 was a 1-possession game late into the fourth quarter. So it's been pretty nip and tuck at this point. The injuries, as you said, may go a long way towards defining where it heads from here. But at this moment, the Spurs stole home court. The Thunder looked like they figured some things out last night. Who would you say is in control of this series going to Game 3?
I'm going to have to wait for the injury report. And what I'm afraid of if you're the Spurs is I think you can win the series, but you may need more generational games from Wembanyama. They're The entire Thunder organization is set up to take the ball from you. And now they've got their two most important steady ball handlers who may not be able to play or be limited. It is not a good formula for where they're at.
I don't think anybody's in control yet, though, Greeny. I think that is very wise and sage when you think about what teams are dealing with. But in general, this is just going to be an epic series. Like you mentioned how the first two games have gone. I think there are more adjustments to come. I don't know who's in control of this one. I don't have a control.
You saw the adjustment. You talked about it. I was watching you guys go back and forth about this the other day. What's the next move here? What's the next move that you
I
get
can
made?
see the adjustment for that game. I also agree with y'all that I think they're going to go back to scrambling it up, letting them see